All right, it's Thursday, November 5th. I believe it's 4 days post new moon. I probably wouldn't ordinarily come out to do any real-time imaging, except we have the clearest sky I have seen in months. So there's a view of the mountain. You can see it is snow-clad, but also have a moon, if I can turn it up in the camera, up there. There you go. Apparently the exposure time setting isn't good enough. Hold on, maybe I can move forward and draw it back. No, not quite able to turn up the moon. It's not bad though. It's not going to be too luminous. It's deep south, and the sky, as I mentioned, is clear as it has gotten in quite a while. So why not get out, set up the scope, and track down. I believe we'll be doing NGC400-500, and if I get really motivated, maybe I'll do 2 sessions tonight if I can recharge the battery and clear the memory, so we can cover some, let's say 40 to 50 studies. You can see how quickly I can set up the observatory. I have been using a scope, so I have left the electronics active, which is generally a good thing because electronics, most things don't like to be switched on and off. So I've left the screen active there, the imager is active there. We have power on the Gemini 2 controller unit. The handset is set up. One of my typical actions is to reset the time. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006. There we go, because we typically lose or gain 3 seconds every day. And let's step back. I'll step down from the deck, give you a view of the scope, and I'll be coming out later and doing both mechanical. Oh, yes, figured out what happened with the alignment. Basically, due to the temperature changes, I believe, the bubble levels that you can see here and here, possibly because of the light, were off quite a bit. So I recentered them, and now I'm going to be spending a little more time tonight realigning both mechanically and, of course, setting a model digitally. So there's our intro for the evening's real-time imaging. Well, we're going to have a little fun to begin with in our evening's observation. It's now 8 o'clock, 8:03 and 15 seconds. I'm going to step through and we're going to see what emerges. I just did a synchronization to MECAB, and everything we're going to be looking at night is very close to culminating. So let me go ahead and step through these settings and we'll see what emerges. 1/1000th of a second, 1/500th of a second, 1/250th of a second. Remember, there's going to be 6 passes with image stabilization. 1/120th of a second, 1/50th of a second, which is a little fast. Typically, movies might be made maybe at this rate. Exposure time for each cell in a movie, in an old type movie. 2 flood is 1/25th of a second, I do believe. We're not seeing anything emerge at this point. 4 flood, we'll just go on from there. 1/12th of a second, maybe. Alright, so we're moving along. Let's see what emerges. I'll take a little bit more time with each step. Okay, so now we're up to 6 inches in aperture, roughly speaking. We're seeing stars in the field. Remember, that's a 15 by 20 arc-minute field of view, being partially blocked. And what we're looking for could be behind the text on the screen. 30-second flood is about 9 inches of aperture. 64th would be about 12. More stars appearing. And finally, we are at our target shutter speed of 128 flat, 2.5 seconds, 6 frames with image stabilization, which typically takes at minimum 30 seconds to formulate a full image. Returning, exiting, and saving. All right. I'll tell you what we're looking for on the screen. I do believe I see it. So allow that image to stabilize. We are, of course, going after the NGC400-499 series sample tonight, not inclusive of everything. 400 is a star in Pisces, 401 is a star in Pisces, 402 is a star in Pisces, but NGC403 is a galaxy in Pisces. And I am going to align to it. I do see it on the screen. It's fairly bright, magnitude 12.5, with a nice aspect ratio of 1.8 to 0.63 to 1. Spiral with a lowercase a, 229 million light years distant, puts it at probably about 120,000 light years in diameter. We are now at right ascension 1 hour, 9 minutes, 14 seconds, with a northerly declination of 32 degrees, 45 minutes, and 7 seconds. The galaxy is quite apparent right about there on the screen. Nice edgy on appearance. I am going to synchronize to it, although I just synchronized to MECAB. I'm going to push it down to about this location on the screen before we progress to our next study. Okay, I just pushed NGC403 down. It'll probably take a while to take form on the screen. I was hoping it would end up somewhere like that. I really tapped the scope quite a bit. This is quite a galaxy. Look at how brightly illuminated the core of the galaxy is. Very nice study. I may synchronize on other galaxies during the course of the evening. Let's move on to our next 400 to 499 study in the series. Now, NGC404 is a very easy to find galaxy. I believe it's near Alpheratz, but I could be wrong. It's near a bright star in Andromeda. I'll put a caption on it tomorrow. NGC404, galaxy in Andromeda, magnitude 10.3, 4.3 by 3.9 arc-minute, elliptical, class 0. You can see the core, and you can see the aura of brightest stars surrounding it. It's at right ascension 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 26 seconds, with a declination of plus 3543.05. And we're getting a nice view. Ooh, here's another nicely aspect ratio galaxy, also in the sky's middle third. Well, it didn't turn out to be quite as visible as I'd hoped, although it is quite apparent on the screen there. It's NGC407, galaxy in Pisces. The fishes, magnitude 13.4. The aspect ratio is close to 3 to 1, 1.8 by 0.4 arc minutes. Spiral with a lowercase a, 253 million light years distant. It's probably about 125,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 10 minutes, 36 seconds, with a declination of 33 degrees north, 7 minutes, and 32 seconds. We are getting a little bit of an edgy on left to right appearance there. NGC410 is a galaxy not too many clicks away from our last study, which I believe was 407. It's a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 11.5, 2.3 by 1.8 arc minutes, spiral with a bar, and it's a lenticular bar. 242 million light years distant means this one's probably about 170,000 light years in diameter, so larger than Messier 31 in real size. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 10 minutes, 58 seconds, with a declination of plus 33 degrees, 9 minutes, and 4 seconds. Let this be a challenge to anyone who has a 6-inch telescope. You should be able to pick it out at 2 millimeters exit pupil, roughly about 75x. Another galaxy not too far away from the last. This is NGC414, galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 14.5, 0.7 by 0.4 arc minutes, lenticular spiral, 218 million light years distant. This brighter galaxy here, I believe, was the last one we did, 410, and this fainter is 414. You should look for these with like a 12-inch scope, and that one should just reveal itself, while this one should be quite obvious. There is our review. Lots of galaxies in Pisces, and as I mentioned in my last video, there was the thing called the Pisces cloud of galaxies, which were about 8 or 9 that I imaged. However, it was more of a string of pearls than a cloud of galaxies. NGC420 is another galaxy in Pisces, a few separate clicks away from the last. It's magnitude 12.1, but what I like about it is there's a pure face-on lenticular spiral, 2 by 2 arc minutes in size, 227 million light years distant, puts it at about 150,000 light years in diameter, comparable to our own Messier 31. Anyway, we're at right ascension 1 hour, 12 minutes, 9 seconds with a declination of plus 32 degrees, 7 minutes, and 22 seconds. This should be an intriguing view. This is a 1 by 1 arc minute sized galaxy as opposed to 2 by 2. NGC425, galaxy in Andromeda, a little fainter, magnitude 12.6. About half the distance, maybe a little more, at 289 million light years. As I mentioned, 1 by 1 arc minute in apparent size. It's a spiral with peculiarities. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 13 minutes, 2 seconds, and a declination of plus 38 degrees, 46 minutes, and 6 seconds. The galaxy is quite apparent on the screen. Alright, this next galaxy, NGC428, galaxy in Cetus, is about as far south as I want to go tonight. It's right close, very close to the celestial equator. And probably within about 10 degrees of culminating. NGC428 is an 11.5 magnitude galaxy, quite large, 4 by 2.9 arc minutes. Spiral of a C-class, but with peculiarities. You can see it on the screen. 53 million light years distant. Given its size, it's probably apparent size and distance is probably somewhere around 60,000 light years in diameter. Very intriguing, nebulous looking galaxy with a brightening core and a cloudy appearance around that. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 12 minutes, 55 seconds with a declination of plus 58 minutes and 54 seconds, almost a 1 degree northern declination. Sweet view, however. Okay, let's watch this one develop. It's NGC444. NGC444 is a galaxy in Pisces. 14.3 magnitude, 1.9 by 0.4 arc minutes. The thing to look for here is whether we get any sense of its extension given the fact that it's 14th magnitude. It's a spiral of the lowercase c, d, so it's basically 3.5 times removed from the lenticular class. 220 million light years distant, puts it at probably about 140,000 light years in diameter. So this is a galaxy in early spiral formation. Right ascension 1 hour, 15 minutes, 49 seconds with a declination of plus 31 degrees, 4 minutes and 48 seconds. I can see a fuzzy spot on the screen which does seem to have some sense of extension, but it does not appear to have any kind of core brightening. Our next study, NGC446, is a galaxy in Pisces, and I selected it because I want to get a sense of how much effect the moon might have on this view. It's magnitude 15.5, but this is a fairly large galaxy in terms of apparent size, 2 by 1.6 arc minutes, spiral with a bar of the lenticular class, but a mere 240 million light years distant. So a magnitude, one magnitude fainter than the Great Andromeda Galaxy at roughly half the distance. We're at right ascension 1 hour 16 minutes and 3 seconds with a declination of plus 4 degrees 17 minutes and 39 seconds. I would look for the galaxy to be right about there, and it seems to be present. Magnitude 15.5. That's probably the blue-violet brightness, because as a lenticular, it would be about a magnitude brighter in the visual spectrum, and that makes more sense with what we're seeing. So this is really a 14.5 magnitude galaxy. Here we have NGC450, a galaxy in Cetus, a little further south than the last one we went to, which this is minus almost a degree, minus 51 minutes 40 seconds with a right ascension of 1 hour 15 and 30 seconds. Reason I selected it is because it is bright, magnitude 11.53 by 2.4 arc minutes, spiral with a bar lowercase c, so a relatively unevolved spiral. 79 million light years distant. Once again, we're just getting a faint sense of nebulosity without any kind of really present core. This one's a little fainter than I would expect, even though it's below the celestial equator by almost a degree. There's our view. I'll allow it to continue to develop a little bit as I step through. Ooh, this is a nice aspect ratio, 3:1 in Pisces. Let's go run to it. Here we have developing on the screen NGC452, a galaxy in Pisces. Magnitude 12.6, 2.5 by 0.8 arc minutes, so a 3:1 suboblate supra edge-on galaxy. Spiral with a bar, lowercase ab, so 1.5 times removed from lenticular, 225 million light years distant, but given its apparent size, this galaxy is probably somewhere around 170,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour 16 minutes 15 seconds with a declination of plus 31 degrees 2 minutes and 1 second, and it looks the scope is pointing kind of upward, so I'm not getting a good view, but I think we may be seeing a nice view of edgy-on looking galaxy on the screen in the usually expected location on the screen. Very nice. By the numbers, we should be getting a pretty nice view of NGC470, a galaxy in Pisces. Magnitude 11.8, so anything below magnitude 13 should give us decent views of some kind of texture, a core with extensions, etc. This is a 2.9 by 1.7 arc minute spiral with a lowercase b and a ring. We should be able to make out that annularity, and looking at the screen, it is present. 113 million light years distant puts this at about 100,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour 19 minutes 44 seconds with a declination of 3 degrees 4 minutes and 35 seconds above the celestial equator. But you know what? We are definitely getting a sense of that annular frontier. Very nice. I'll allow it to continue to develop as I step through, looking for our next study. Nice one here. It's pretty clear to me that we have two galaxies on the same screen, and I believe this is the last one we looked at, which was it 470? We're now looking at NGC 474. It's a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 11.5. Huge, however. 6.1 arc minutes by 5. So pretty much face on, or football shape. Lenticular spiral with a ring. Oh my, I don't know that we're going to see much of that, but intriguing. 101 million light years distant means this baby is probably somewhere close to 200,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 20 minutes, 6 seconds with a declination of 3 degrees, 24 minutes, and 54 seconds into the northern hemisphere of the sky. I'll skip along. Ooh, this might be the test of the night. It's a 16.5 magnitude galaxy. Let's have a look. Well, this one isn't turning out to be as challenging as I expected. It's present right there. It's NGC475, a galaxy in Pisces. Said to be magnitude 16.5, excuse me, but very small, 0.3 by 0.3 arc-minute elliptical, 714 million light years away. That means it's probably closer to maybe 60,000 light years in diameter. I suspect that magnitude 16.5 is blue-violet, which means, given it's an elliptical, it's probably closer to magnitude 15. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 2 seconds with a declination of plus 14 degrees, 5140. And as I suspect, it's probably a 15th magnitude, not a 16.5 magnitude elliptical. What we have here is a galaxy of very large size and brightness, but its core is so intense. NGC488 is a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 10.3, largish football shape, 5.4 by 3.9 arc-minute spiral with a bar and a ring. We are seeing extensions on this. 101 million light years distant puts it at about 175 to 80,000 light years in diameter. It's got right ascension 1 hour, 21 minutes, 46 seconds with a declination of plus 5 degrees, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds, and it's giving us quite a nice extensive view with that core very overpowering. Wow. NGC488. NGC489 is a galaxy in Pisces, a little further north, magnitude 12.6, 1.7 by 0.4 arc-minutes, a 4:1 aspect ratioed edgy-on galaxy. Spiral with peculiarities, 113 million light years distant, means it's kind of dwarfish, maybe 40,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 21 minutes, 53 seconds with a declination of plus 9 degrees, 12 minutes, and 22 seconds. Let's allow this one to develop a little bit as I seek out the final galaxies in the NGC 400 to 499 series for us to view this evening. Oh, here's a distant galaxy, NGC 492. Let's have a look. NGC 492 is a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 15.5, smallish, 0.7 by 0.6 arc-minutes, spiral with a bar and peculiarities. 636 million light years distant puts us at about 120,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 22 minutes, 13 seconds with a declination of 5 degrees, 25 minutes, and no seconds. My hands are actually starting to chill. I think the temperature has dropped below freezing. And since I have to manipulate things, I am not wearing gloves, although I do have some thin ones I could put on. Here we have a nice edgy-on galaxy, NGC 493 in Cetus, but it's above the celestial equator. Magnitude 12.5, 3.4 by 1.1 arc-minutes, so a 3:1 aspect ratio. Spiral with a bar and lowercase c, 106 million light years distant, puts this at about 125,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 9 seconds with a declination of plus almost 1 degree, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds. We are getting a nice edgy-on view of this 12.5 magnitude, largish 12.5 magnitude galaxy, NGC 493. Once again, still down low in Cetus, just a little bit below the celestial equators. For NGC 497 galaxy Cetus, magnitude 13, 2.1 by 0.9 arc-minutes in size, spiral with a bar, lowercase bc. So the core isn't going to be all that apparent, I would think, as a 2.5 times removed from lenticular. But it is 371 million light years distant, which means it's probably something about 190 to 200,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 22 minutes, 23 seconds, with a slightly southerly declination of 52 minutes and 31 seconds. The galaxy is quite apparent on the screen. I'm hoping we are getting a nice sense of extension. We're about to wrap on the 400 to 499 series, and guess what? We're actually going to end on NGC499. It's a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 12.1, football shape, 1.7 by 1.3 arc minutes, lenticular spiral, 199 million light years distant, puts it at about 100,000 light years in diameter. There may be other galaxies on the screen. I can't really tell, the scope's pointing nearly straight up. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 23 minutes and 11 seconds with a declination of 33 degrees north, 27 minutes and 36 seconds. So let's select something to carpe noctem out on. Well, I had hoped to go out on Messier 110 because it's a nice check of the sky. However, it was partially blocked by the roof try over my head. Things are progressing west, especially with the later hour and the later time of the year. I think 33 is pretty well placed on the screen. I gave you a view at 256 flood previously. Messier 33 by the numbers is a galaxy in triangulum, magnitude 5.7, 68 by 41 arc minutes, 3 million light years distant, and probably somewhere around 50,000 light years in diameter. It has a obvious core with spiral arms and H2 regions, for instance, right there. It's a good look through anything 6 inches and larger in aperture, especially at lower magnifications. Of course, it was discovered with a 3-inch scope, long focus, non-achromatic refractor. May not have actually been discovered by Messier. You'd have to do some research on that. Could have been seen by others previously. So we're at 1 hour, 33 minutes, 51 seconds with a declination of plus 30 degrees, 39 and 27 seconds. And with that information, we're going to say carpe noctem.